All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Shravani. All right, so first of all, let's just get into the agenda of the webinar. What all are you going to experience today, explore today? Firstly, I will just take 1 minute to get yourself familiar with who are we, who is A plus calculus, who is behind A plus calculus, and who am I. Next, we will see the 3 stages of getting 700 plus in SAT Math, 700 plus or 750 plus or even 800 in SAT Math. Thirdly, we will take a deep dive into the minds of SAT Math test creators, the people who actually create the math section of the SAT test, and in fact any standardized test. So what is their psyche, what is what's going on in their mind, and how do they craft the question papers. So we look at that, and finally we will see that there are a few bonuses for you if you stay till the end. So we all know that the end of the school year is approaching us, so we will take a look at that. Now before we proceed further, I would like to know that do you have a child who is preparing for the SAT math section or overall SAT or any standardized test? So Ms. Shravani, is there any, do you have any child who is preparing for the SAT exam in the upcoming days?
Uh, no, Vrinda. Actually, my son is in eighth grade now. Like
Okay.
he is going to do next grade.
Okay, okay, got it. He's in 8th grade. What about you, Mr. Vinay?
Yeah, I have a son in 10th grade.
All right, sounds good. So is he around? Is he also watching the webinar? Because
Yeah, he's sitting next to me.
perfect. And Ms. Shavni, is your son also watching the webinar? Because it's going to be really beneficial for the children.
Yeah, yeah, he is also next year.
Perfect. And okay, it's up to you if you want to turn on your camera if you're comfortable, but if not, then also it's fine. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I would like to take a minute to tell you all who are we. So A plus Calculus is not just any other tutoring company here. This at A plus Calculus, it's only me. I am the personalized tutor. I teach high school math subjects starting from Algebra 1 all till calculus 2. So algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, then calculus 1 and calculus 2. And I don't take my curriculum to teach the students, but I ask the students to bring their school curriculum, whatever is going on in their school. They tell me that this is what they want to learn. This is the topic that is going on in their school. And then I take up from there. So I give my students the complete independence. Whatever they ask me to teach, I will teach. Otherwise, I have my own curriculum as well. But I feel that at other tutoring companies, when there are multiple teachers, multiple batches, there is a set curriculum which every teacher is teaching, and there is a set program structure which every teacher has to follow. But I give complete flexibility as far as the curriculum goes, as far as the number of classes is concerned, and the entire course curriculum. Here, it's been quite a time now, and I feel really proud and I feel really loved when my parents and students show this love and support to me. I have been teaching since last 8 years to students of different countries: South Africa, Singapore, US, and for the last 5 years I've been teaching to only US students. So here are some love that parents and students have showed over the time. Next, let's dive deep into the 3 stages of getting 700 plus in SAT Math. Are you excited? If you're excited, just type E in the chat box. That will show that you are excited. Just type E in the chat box. Okay, I see Mr. Vinay has typed E. Ms. Shavni has also typed E. Let's move further. So now what is about to come is this. Do you know what is this? Can anybody tell what is this? Anyone?
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest, yes, exactly. So this is the peak, this is the summit of Mount Everest, and the height of the Mount Everest is 8,848 meters. Why I'm telling you this is, I want to create an analogy between climbing the Mount Everest and getting the perfect 800 score on the SAT maths section. What happens is, after the height of 8,000 meters, this zone from 8,000 till 8,848 meters is called the death zone. Why is it called the death zone? Because most of the deaths happen in this zone, like beyond, after 8,000 meters. So the thing is, there are various levels at which the mountaineers and the climbers set up their camps. The first camp they set up at the base camp, which is at the height of 5,000 meters. Now I want to compare this height with your SAT score. Your first stage of SAT is going to be when you start getting score of 500 or 500 plus on the math section. That's your first stage. And then your second stage will come at camp number 2, when you'll start getting 600 plus. You start touching the score of 600. And your third stage will come at the height of 8,000 meters, where you will start touching the score of 700 plus. Now the journey from 700 to 800 is the time where most of the students start feeling complacency. They feel that, okay, 700 is enough, we will cover in the English section. But the thing is, the maximum marks that you can cover on your SAT exam is in the math section itself. From 700 to 800, the journey will not be that simple. You'll have to master a lot of tips, lot of techniques, lot of hacks, but trust me, it's achievable. So the 3 stages that I talked about, those 3 stages are: stage number 1, concept mastery, when you start getting 600 plus. So what I mean by concept mastery is, you will, everyone who is planning to give the SAT exam, they know the curriculum, they are well versed with the concepts. What is algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry? They have completely mastered all the concepts. So anybody who knows the fundamentals of the high school subjects can easily get 600 plus. Anybody whose fundamentals are clear. In order to go from 600 to 700, second stage, you need to master the pattern. You need to practice a lot of previous year's SAT math papers. Then you'll start understanding what is the pattern of the exam. Then in order to go from stage 2 to stage 3, which is beyond 750, 760, 770, you need to master the exam. Now I will tell you the tips and tricks that will help you to master the pattern and to master the exam. Now in order to do the exam mastery, you need to understand the mindset of the test makers. Okay, if you know that what exactly are the test makers trying to test, what are they trying to judge, what are they trying to assess, then your journey of, from 600 to 700 and 700 to 750 will be as smooth as a breeze. So that's what we will discuss today. Let's get into the minds of test creators, which is the theme of this webinar. Before that, I want to tell you a story, and I want to know from the students here that does this happen with you as well? Listen carefully. When I was in high school and when I used to give an exam, and when, me and my friends would come out of the examination hall, we would discuss the question paper, and we would discuss that, okay, for question number 9, what did you get? So my friend would say that he got option C. My other friend would also say that she also got option C. I will also say that I got option C. My other friend will also say that I got option C. So all 4 of us were getting option C as the correct option, and we used to think that, okay, if all of us are getting option C, then it should be correct. This is exactly the thing that test makers know. They know that what is that one mistake that everyone is going to make. Because see, we are teachers from long time, and after so many years of teaching, we know that this is the mistake that everyone makes. So what they do is they will solve the question incorrectly by making that mistake, and then they will keep that mistake as one of the options. And most of the times you will see that that incorrect option will be option A. Option A, we will come to that later. Okay, so here are four most important topics of this webinar. First is we will see what are trap answers. What are trap answers and how they are placed. So the mistake that I'm talking about, this option C that everybody is getting, this is a trap answer. I'm not saying that every time it will be a trap answer, but most of the times it happens that it comes out to be a trap answer. So we will see some previous year SAT math questions, and we will see what are trap answers and how they are placed. Then we will see the problem solving skills. So in the SAT math exam, the test makers, they are not just judging your math skills, but they are also judging your problem solving skills. So we will see what is the difference between the math skills and the problem solving skills. Thirdly, we will see the 8 most common SAT math errors. Test makers know that these are the most common errors, these are the most common mistakes that students make, and that's why they make questions around those mistakes. And that is how they are able to judge an average student and an above average student. Then there are 5 concepts which are tested on every SAT math exam. And those 5 concepts, you either know them or you don't know them. And if you know them, you will basically get free points for those questions. Alright, so what are trap answers? First question. Here, one of these options is a trap answer. Now what happens is whenever we see an equation, whenever students see an equation, they will straightforward try to solve that equation. So if I were in high school, I would straight away, if I'm doing an exam, I know the clock is ticking, I would straight away try to solve this equation. I would say, okay, 5x minus 3x gives me 2x, and then add a 2 on both the sides, that gives me 6, and I would say divide the equation by 2, that gives me x equals 3, and we will simply tick the first option, that is option 3. This is your trap answer. This is your trap answer. Now the test makers know that many students will not read the question completely, because this happens when we are giving a standardized test. Whenever there is a time constraint, we sometimes skip to read the question completely, and whenever we see an equation, we just try to solve it for x. We see the value of x in the options and we just select that option. But in this question, they are asking for the value of 2x, and we don't even have to solve the question completely. We are getting the value of 2x in the second step itself. So 2x is 6, which is option D. Now though, you will see that the trap answers will be, most of the times the trap answer will be your option A, because that's the option that you first see. Let's look at another trap answer. When 4 times the number is added to 12, the result is 8. Okay, 4 times the number x. So 4 times the number x, that means 4x, is added to, that translates to plus, added to 12. The result is equals to symbol. The result is means equality, 8. That's your equation. Now again, you will do the same mistake. You will try to simplify. You will try to find out the value of x. Now students, can you just solve for x and tell me the value of x from this equation?
1. Negative 1 times 2, that'd be negative 2 plus 7, that's 5.
Perfect.
Wait, what?
Perfect. X will be negative 1. That's correct. Give me a second. x will be -1, and see, they have given -1 as option A. Some students will again make the same mistake. They will not read the next part of the question. They will get x equals -1 and they will select the first option, but you have to read the next part of the question. Next part says that what number results when 2 times x, that is -1, is added to 7. 2 times -1 is -2 plus 7 gives us +5. So option A is not correct, option B is correct. Again, the trap answer is option A. These are all questions from previous SAT math exams. Okay, so you have to understand, be wary of option A. Always be wary of option A. You all know how to solve an equation, you all know how to write expressions, you all know how to solve everything, but be wary of the answer choices. So I suggest that when you're solving a question, just hide the options. Just hide the options. Okay, just hide the option from your hand like this and solve the question first, get the answer, and then look at the options. Trust me, this will work wonders for you. Okay, in this question, all the options could be trap answers except one correct option. So let's see. This is a good one. So if q is 4, what is 3d times 4 minus 3q? So we have 3d times 4 minus 3q. And we have to find the expression of this value in terms of d when q is equal to 4. So let's substitute q is equal to q as 4. So 4 minus 3 times 4. Now here 4 minus 3 times 4 gives us 12. 4 minus 12 gives us -8. Now this step is really crucial. After this step, most of the students will make mistake. If you mistake this with subtraction, you would get -5d. If you do 3d minus 8 and you think like there is an d here, you would do -5d and you would get option B as correct. If somehow you ignore this negative sign and you multiply with +8, you will get 24d, which is option E, which is not correct again. If somehow you apply distributive property at this step and you do 3d times 4, which gives us 12d, and 3d times -12, which by mistake you write 12, then you would get option D, which is again not correct. If somehow you forget this d, then you would do 12 minus 12 and you would get 0, which is option C, which is again not correct. The correct option is 3d times -24, sorry, times -8, which gives us -4d, option A. So the test makers know what all possible type of mistakes students can make. You know, if there is somebody whose algebraic concepts are not clear, these are all the potential mistakes that you can make. So that's why they've given all the incorrect answer choices as the options. This is the favorite of SAT math test creators. You will definitely get a question related on rise over run, where you have to find out the slope of a line. You just be careful about these graphs. It's not necessary that they are of 1-to-1 scale. In this question, they are asking what is the slope of this line. Now you may be tempted to find rise over run, and you would count the number of boxes. You would say, okay, the rise is 1, 2, 3, and the run is 1, 2. Oh, I'm getting the slope 1.5, yay! But no, that is not correct. You have to see the scale. What is the scale here? On the x-axis, 1 square is equal to 1 unit. Okay? On the x-axis, 1 square is equal to 1 unit. So this is 1, this is 2. But on the y-axis, 1 square is equivalent to 10 units. So this is 10, this is 20, and this is 30. So what will be the slope for this line?
-15.
-15. And why will it be negative?
It's because it's like a graph that's going downwards.
Yeah, it's a downward going line, it's a falling line. It's a falling line. Again, be very careful with this, that the slope of this line will be negative 15 and not positive 15, because it's a falling line. Okay, and be careful, be cautious of the scale. All right. Now we come to math skills versus problem skills. Here, I will tell you that if there is a student who has good math skills, then how they would solve this particular question. But if you have good problem solving skills, then how you would solve this question. So this question says that a classroom contains 31 chairs. Always make sure to highlight the data in your question wherever there are numbers. But I think in digital SAT you won't be able to do that. But anyway, when you're practicing, or when there is question, when you have pen and paper, always make sure to highlight the data. Now there are 31 chairs, some of which have arms, some of which do not. If the room contains 5 more armchairs than chairs without arms, then how many armchairs does it contain? So a student who has good math skills, this is how he would do this problem. He would say that, okay, there are some chairs which have arms, and then there are some chairs which do not have arms, so no arms. Okay, and let me assume that the chairs which have arms, number of chairs which have arms are x, and let's say that the number of chairs which do not have arms are y, and the question is saying that the total number of chairs is 31, so I can say that x plus y is equal to 31, and then it says that the room contains 5 more armchairs than chairs without arms. So basically the armchairs are 5 more than the chairs without the arms. So without the arms is y. And then that student will solve the system of equations by using the method of substitution. They would substitute this value of x in the first equation, and they would say that, okay, 5 plus y is equal to 31, 5 plus 2y is equal to 31, then 2y is equal to 31 minus 5, that will give us 26, and then y is equal to 26 divided by 2, that is 13. So that means the number of chairs which have no arms is 13. So x is 13 plus 5, that is 18. So my answer is D. But correct answer is D. But you will not get this much time to solve a question on the SAT math section. You will just have 1 minute or few seconds on an average for all the problems. But this method took us easily 2 minutes. So does anyone know an alternative method to solve this question without forming these equations and variables and everything? Yes, Ms. Shravani?
So what I did was you can have x for the amount of chairs that don't have an arm, and then armrest, and then you have x plus 5 for the ones that do. So you just like multiply, so that'd be 2x plus 5, and then you get the same answer.
Okay, that you're using your math skills, which is really good, but there is a method that in which you don't even need to choose these variables and everything. Yes, Mr. Vinay.
I just looked for the answer that when you add 5 or subtract 5, the two like sums or wholes would equal 31, and then I choose the bigger of the options since it says that there are more armchairs.
Okay, yes. So this is what you can actually do. Look at the option. Now here I want you to look at the option choices to get to the answer. Okay. Here what you can do is, now see the pattern, the options are arranged in the increasing order, 10, 13, 16, 18, 21 option. Most of the time the questions of SAT math paper will be ordered in increasing order. Okay. So what you can do is just take the middlemost option, which is option C. Let's assume that 16 is correct answer choice. Let's say that there are 16 armchairs. So the chairs without arm will be 16 minus 5, that is 11. And let's add this, so we are getting 27. No, we should get 31 because 31 is the total number of chairs. So 16 cannot be the answer. And any number which is less than 16 can also be not the answer. So you move to the next answer choice, which is 18. Let's assume that 18 is the total number of chairs which have arms. So the chairs which do not have arms will be 18 minus 5, that is 13. And you add them, you get 31. That means 18 is the correct answer choice. So sometimes plugging the options as per the condition of the question can also help you in getting the correct option without doing all this math. So this is what I mean by problem solving skill. This will save your time. Everyone will have good math skills, but not everyone will have good problem solving skills, and that is the thing that will distinguish you from an average student. Let's see another problem. This is literally the problem that can be solved in 1 second. 1 second, I am not kidding. But first we will discuss how a student would solve it if he has a good math skills. We should also be good in the math skills. Okay, in this figure, lines L and M are parallel and lines S and T are parallel. If the measure of angle 1 is 35, so this angle is 35, what is the measure of angle 2? Yes. May I know your name?
Varen,
Varen. Okay. Yes, Varen.
145.
145. And Miss Shavani, what is your name?
I got Kaushik.
Kalshik.
And I Kaushik, yeah.
Okay.
And I got 145 too.
145 is correct, but I want to know the method. I know you're all good in math. That's why you're here. I'm not judging your math skills. I know you all will get the correct answer choice, but I want to know the logic behind it. Yes, Kalshik.
So basically what I did was, since if you like combine those two angles, it should form like a 180-degree angle because it would be a semicircle. So then I just took 35 and subtracted it from 180.
Okay. That's
So because 145 is like the biggest choice there.
okay. And what about you, Varen? How did you get 145?
The angle across from it's a vertical angle, and then you go down to the angle next to 2, because whatever that is, those angles are equal, and then on that line is supplementary, so then you just subtract
This
180.
is the math skill. Both of you are kind of saying the same thing. This is a vertical angle, so this will be 35, and since this is a parallelogram, so opposite angles of parallelogram are equal or congruent, so this will be 35, and then this is supplementary, so you subtract that from 180. But this was not done in 1 second, right? This was not done in 1 second, but I can tell you literally it can be done in 1 second. How? The thing is, although this is not drawn to scale, but I can actually tell that this angle will be definitely an obtuse angle, right? Do you agree that this will be an obtuse angle? This looks like it will be definitely more than 90 degrees. Because if angle 1 is, this is 35, and these lines are all parallel, so this has to be more than 90 degrees. This has to be an obtuse angle, and there is only one option which is more than 90 degrees. So that's how you can get the answer in seconds by using problem solving skills. So the reason I'm taking these questions is because on SAT math, the test makers, you won't have much time to solve all the questions. You will have to leave some questions, and you will have to, compromise on some questions. So these are the questions in which you can literally save your time, and you can use that time where you have to do some crazy calculations. But I think now even calculators are allowed throughout your SAT math section, so that won't be a problem. But there will be questions in the section of data analysis and problem solving where there are graphs and charts and whatnot, where you will need time. So these are the questions where you can actually save your time. So that's why your test makers actually want you to apply problem solving skills, and they will actually, they assess, this is how they assess the students. Yes, Kalshik, you're raising your hand.
So I have a question on field study questions. Will there be any on like the SAT? Like, is there like a regular amount that there will be?
Regular what? Can you repeat that?
Is there gonna be like a certain amount of field study questions that you know of, or like is there like do you know like the average amount of field study questions in there?
Yes, so there is an entire curriculum of the SAT math. I don't know if you have seen the curriculum, and each topic has a fixed amount, fixed percentage amount. That, for example, that expressions and equations, you will get 10% of the questions from expressions and equations. Then you would get certain percent of questions from geometry section. And even in geometry, there is further bifurcation that, let's say, from trigonometry, you will get certain number of questions, certain percentage of question. That is fixed. Okay, so the percentage of questions of the total number of questions is fixed for each section, for each topic. All right, let's move to the next one. One end of a spring is attached to a ceiling. So we have a ceiling and we have a spring. When an object of mass m kilograms, first of all, let me draw a spring. I love drawing springs. So this is a spring and it is stretched with the mass of m kilograms. So we have a mass here. The spring stretches to a length of L centimeters, as shown in the equation above. What is m when L is 73? Again, I know you can all solve this question. This is not a very difficult problem. I want you to think out of the box how you can solve it differently, which will save your time. So they are saying that L is 73. So 73 is equal to 24 plus 3.5 times m. So what value of m will give this 73 value? It's a simple equation. Anybody can solve it. Somebody in 6th grade can solve it. Yes, Kalshik.
It's 14.
It's 14. Okay. What about you, Varun?
It is 14.
Okay, how did you get 14 is what I'm interested in. Yes, Varun?
It can't be D because that's bigger. It can't be 73 because you're subtracting 24. It can't be 27.5 because that would leave you with a decimal point.
Perfect. This is called the method of elimination. You do not even need to use your pen or paper to, to get the correct answer choice. You will just straight away, you can just eliminate all the option choices straight away. And just observe this, again the options are arranged in increasing order: 14, 27.7, 73, 279.5. So the reason they give the option in increasing order is so that the student can pick up the middlemost option and then they can eliminate the answer choices and go either above or below. So they also want you to use the problem solving skills. So the options in increasing order actually helps us to eliminate the answer choices. Now we will see some most common math errors that students make on SAT math exam. The very famous, the very popular one is expanding a binomial expression with power 2. So this, I see a lot of beginners making this mistake, or the students who are trying to attempt the SAT for the first time. They will expand it to x square plus 9. Now that's not correct. That's not correct. We have to apply the rule which says x plus y whole square gives us x square plus 2xy plus y square. Always. See, I know that you know all this stuff, but when you will be attempting the SAT math exam, when there is, that clock which is ticking at the back of your mind, we do tend to make these small mistakes. You know what, the kind of mistakes that I have made? I would do 2 plus 3 equals 6. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how many times I have made this mistake on, on standardized tests. Or I would do 2 times 3 equals 5. Can you tell me some silly mistakes, some silly errors that you tend to make? Something like this? Is there any common error, common mistake that you always tend to make? We all have our, common mistakes. Actually, you should spend some time in identifying that what are the common mistakes that I make. Yes, yes, Kalchik.
So basically on like a test, I had like a system of like equations I had to finish, and then I had like this one part I had to rush through like the exam because there was like a lot of questions
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have much time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was like one of the it said something like 6 times 3, and then I just wrote 9 without thinking of like the answer because like I was rushing through it.
What was it? What was times 3?
6 times 3, and I wrote 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is actually a similar mistake like this one. This actually happens. This is not, I'm not kidding. This actually happens when when we are rushing through the exam, as you said, or whenever we have less time and a lot of questions are remaining. Whenever there will be time constraint, everyone tends to make these type of mistakes. Okay. So one key takeaway from this is always spend some time in contemplating what are the mistakes that you often make, and promise yourself that you will never make that mistake again. Second most common error is failing to write the negative answer when you're finding out the solution of a quadratic equation. Now this is a quadratic equation, x square equals 9. The solution of this equation will be two answers, 3 or -3. Most of the students forget about this -3. Always remember that a quadratic equation has two solutions. It has two solutions. One will be positive, one will be negative. Always. Next one, reading the inequality signs incorrectly. This is again a classic one. So this is read as x is greater than y. X is greater than y. This is kind of a 6th grade or 7th grade concept, but again these type of mistakes are actually happening in the SAT math exam. So this is not x less than y, but it's, so when a question is given to you, a word problem is given to you, and it's written that x is greater than y, some students will write this expression as this. Most of the students will make this mistake. Okay, so I think you must be knowing this, that think of it like alligator's mouth eats the larger number. All of us know this, but again, when the time is less, when we're rushing through the exam, then we do make these type of mistakes. Reading positive to mean even. Most of us, many people confuse positive with even. So positive is different, even is different. Even number is something that is divisible by 2. Positive is different. Positive and even are not same. Confusing 0 with a positive integer. Now 0 is a very special number. 0 and 1. 0 and 1 are very special numbers. 0 is neither positive nor negative. Okay. These conditions are, these conditions are given in the exam, that there is an integer which is positive, there is an integer which is negative, and then there is an integer which is neither positive nor negative. So sometimes we think of 0 as a positive integer, but 0 is not positive and it's neither negative. Okay, always remember that. Then we have, yes, confusing mean and median. Can you guys tell me the difference between mean and median? I know that you know this, but just so that we are clear. Yes, Kalchik.
Mean is like the song, like the average of everything, while as like the median is like the middle number.
Perfect. But the thing is, do not mix these two in your exam. Okay, this happens. Trust me, you know this, but in the exam this actually happens. We confuse mean and median when we are reading the question in a hurry. Then I said that 1 is also a special number. Why 1 is a special number? Because 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay, if somebody asks you, is 1 a prime number, you will say no. Is 1 a composite number, you will say no. 1 is neither prime nor composite number. Always remember that. Then mistaking multiples for factors. Multiples and factors, this is again a 6th grade concept, but you know, in the SAT math section, all the concepts which will be tested will be from your 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and because most of the questions actually come from the algebra part and the percentages, ratio, proportions, graphs, basic operations. Most of the questions come from that, and the section of passport to advanced math, that just constitutes 10 to 20% of your exam. So most of the questions will actually come from your 6th grade, 7th grade, because that's the area where most of the students actually tend to make mistakes. So do not confuse between multiples and factors. Remember that factors of 10 are those numbers which will completely divide 10 without leaving a remainder, and multiples are those numbers of 10 which actually come in the times table of 10. Next, 5 concepts which are tested on every SAT. I can give you guarantee from my side that these 5 concepts that we are going to do will be tested on every SAT math exam, every single SAT math exam. First concept is of discriminant. So we will see what is the concept of discriminant, and we'll do a practice problem. So discriminant is actually a quantity which is used to find out the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation. Its value is given by b square minus 4ac, and this tells us whether the roots will be distinct, whether the roots will be equal, or whether the roots will be imaginary. If this value is greater than 0, then the roots are distinct, real and distinct. I'm talking about quadratic equation. If this value is equal to 0, so a quadratic equation, for a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equals 0, this is the standard form of a quadratic equation. And for this equation, if you want to test the nature of the roots, we find out this quantity discriminant. Anyone knows about this, Varen? Have you studied this concept of discriminant? Yes? Yes, Kalchik?
I've studied this.
Perfect. And if this quantity is less than 0, then you get imaginary solutions. And if this is equal to 0, then you'll get real solution. Both the real solutions will be equal, they will be same. Now let's come to this problem. Yes, Kalchik?
Wouldn't you also need like would you need to have like a square root for this? So like for the discriminant, wouldn't you need like a square root over all of it? So like
You mean square root of b square minus 4ac?
yeah, the entire thing.
Yeah, but the discriminant is what is inside the square root, b square minus 4ac. The square root comes in the quadratic formula when you write minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. But the quantity which is inside the square root, that's your discriminant. So you don't need to do that extra step of finding out the square root. Okay? Now let's come to this problem. What this problem says. Y is equal to 1, y is equal to x square plus bx plus 5. if b is greater than 0 and the system of equations has exactly one solution, what is the value of b? So what is happening over here? Varun, do you want to explain? Do you have any idea about this problem? What is happening in this one?
No.
No? Okay, let's see. This y is equal to 1. This, yes, Kalshik?
Is there like a designated b value? Because like
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing there. It's just like a variable. So was there something that was supposed to be there?
This is b over here in the second equation.
Yeah, but like
Hmm.
wouldn't that just be like a variable?
Yeah, that's a variable and we need to find out the value of this variable.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so how can we find that out? So this is actually a system of equations where the first equation, this you all know that this is the equation of a line, right? Y is equal to 1 is a line, and this, can anybody tell, this is equation of what? X squared plus bx plus
A
5.
parabola.
A parabola, correct. Now they're saying that this system of equations has exactly one solution. This is our way to the answer. Now how does I will first draw a parabola. This is, let's say, a parabola, and then there is a line, and they are saying that the line in parabola has exactly one solution. That means this, they are talking about the points of intersection. Points of intersection. So the parabola and the line actually intersect at exactly one point. So there is just one point of intersection. There can be three cases. There can be 2 points of intersection, there can be 0 points of intersection, or there can be 1 point of intersection. Those are the only three cases. So when there are 2 points of intersection, yes, Kalshik?
Wouldn't there be no points of intersection because the parabola it's vertically shifted up by 5, and then the line is only y equals 1. Does that be 0 points of intersection?
No, but we are finding out the intersection of the parabola and the line, not with the x-axis. We are not finding out the points of intersection of parabola and the x-axis, but we have
Oh,
we have been given a line y equals 1. I have not drawn it as per the equation. Line y equals to 1 will be, something like this. This will be the line y equals to 1. And I don't know how the parabola will be, but in the question it has been given that there is one solution. If there is one solution, that means this parabola and the line is intersecting at one point. Okay, that's the information which is given to us. So if they are intersecting at one point, then this system of equation will have one solution. One solution. Okay, now what is the other possibility? Let's say if in the question they had given us that the system of equation has two solutions. If the system of equations had two solutions, then the line would be cutting the parabola at 2 points. Okay, at 2 points. Then the system of equations would have two solutions. So far so good? Okay. Now how do we find out the answer to this problem? What we will do is we will try to solve this system of equations by using the method of substitution. So y is equal to 1, y is equal to x squared plus bx plus 5. So I'm going to substitute y is equal to 1 in this equation. Okay. So we get 1 is equal to x square plus bx plus 5. Subtract 1 from both the sides, we get 0 is equal to x square plus bx plus 5 minus 1 is 4. This is, let's just reverse the sides because I am more comfortable when the expression is on the left hand side. Okay, this is your quadratic equation, and in the problem we have one solution. So one solution is this case, is the second number case. When you have one solution, that's your second number case. The discriminant is equal to 0. So now you will set this discriminant equal to 0. So b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. Let me know if this step is clear. If this step is clear, then only I'll move to the next step.
It's clear.
Perfect. And now you just need to substitute the values. So b is just b minus 4, a is 1, c is 4 equals to 0. b square minus 4 times 1 times 4 is 16 is equal to 0. Add a 16 on both the sides to get b square is equal to 16. And we are back to the first common SAT error. Remember, x square is equal to 9 gives you x equals both plus and minus 3. So here also you'll get b is equal to plus and minus 4. But here in the question they are telling you that if b is greater than 0. If b is greater than 0, then what is the value of b? Value of b is 4. And not, we will discard negative 4 because in the question they have given the condition that b is greater than 0. So the answer is 4. Trust me, I can guarantee you this concept is tested on every SAT math exam. You can take it from me. Next concept, system of equations. Again, in this one we also had system of equations, but here we had a parabola. In this one we again have system of equations, but this time these are linear equations. Okay, how many solutions does the system of equations above have? So you have two linear equations and we have to find out that how many solutions will this system have. So first you write the coefficients of y, then you write the coefficients of x, and then you write the constant terms. So coefficients of y is 1 and 2. I'm going to write 1 and 2. Coefficients of x are 3 and negative 6, and the constant terms are 8 and 16. Can anybody tell me how many solutions does this system have? 0, 1, 2 or infinitely many?
It has 1.
1. Well, that's visible because there is a tick mark against option B. 1 is correct, but why is 1 correct? Why not 0? Why not 2? Why not infinitely many? I'm always interested in knowing the why. I'm not interested in knowing the what. Why? Yes, Kalshik.
When you well, I didn't really do much. I just looked at the correct thing. Like, just looked at one, but so in a system of equations, if the slope is the slope is perpendicular to the other thing, so the other slope, it would generally be one solution. But if it's parallel, there's still a chance that it could be infinitely many. But I only said one because there was a tick mark.
Okay. Warren, what about you? Why does this system of equations have one solution? Any idea?
It's because when you solve for both of them, you isolate y, they both equal the same thing.
Both equal to same thing?
Yeah, y in both scenarios, y equals what? The 3x.
No. Okay, let me tell you that I think there is some confusion in this problem. Whenever you have a system of equations, a linear system of equations, always do this step. Write the coefficients of y like I've written in this tabular format. Write the coefficients of y, write the coefficients of x, and then write the constant terms. Simplify these coefficients. Take the ratios of this coefficient. So 1 over 2. This is a crazy hack. They see 1 over 2, then 3 over negative 6. 3 over negative 6 will give you negative 1 over 2, and 8 over 16 will be again 1 over 2. Now there can be three possibilities. If these three coefficients are not equal, so if this coefficients, I mean the ratios of coefficients of y is not equal to the ratios of coefficients of x, then in this case you will always have one solution. This is the case where your lines will intersect at one point like this. Then second possibility is that you could get 1 over 2 equal to 1 over 2 equal to 1 over 2. This is the case of infinitely many solutions. Then your first line and second line will be on top of each other. They will coincide. These are called coinciding lines. Third possibility is that your first ratio is equal to the second ratio but is not equal to the third ratio. In this case you will have parallel lines and parallel lines. In that case you will get no solution because the parallel lines never intersect, so you will get no solution. Okay, so let me just give you a concept. If you have two lines, let's say a1x plus b1y is equal to c1 and a2x plus b2y is equal to c2, and you need to find out that how many solutions does this system of equations have. So what you will do is you will find out the ratio a1 over a2, b1 over b2 and c1 over c2. Okay, if the first two ratios are not equal, and we are not concerned about this can be equal or cannot be equal, doesn't matter. If the a1 over a2 and b1 over b2 is not equal, then this is the case of intersecting lines, and intersecting lines will have one solution. Second case is if both the ratios are equal, a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2 is equal to c1 over c2, then you will get coinciding lines. Both the lines will be on top of each other, so in that case you will have infinitely many solutions. Third case is if your a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2, but if this is not equal to c1 over c2, then this is the case of parallel lines. In this case you will have no solution. So one solution. Yes, Varun?
Do they allow graphing calculators on the SAT?
No, the graphing calculator is not allowed on the SAT exam. Otherwise, you can simply plot these lines on the graph and you'll see that these are intersecting at one point. Sorry to disappoint you, but the graphing calculator is not. Yes, Kalshik?
So about the graphing calculators, wouldn't that be allowed on the EOCT?
EOCT?
Yeah. Isn't that what's
What is,
isn't
can you
it
tell me what is EOCT?
the EOC, I mean.
That
It's like the end of the course.
end of the course. But I think that depends on school to school. End of the course exam, calculator is allowed during the exam. That depends on your grade level and on the school.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So again, this concept is also tested in your SAT math exam. Trust me. Now let's see the third concept, percentages. I don't know, there is something with the percentages and the SAT math test creators. They always give questions, 2 or 3 questions, minimum 2 or 3 questions will be there from the percentages, and one question will be definitely there on percentage increase or decrease, always. And this question, let's see. A cologne is currently on sale and is priced at $14.30. Assuming this is the price after the $35 sale, 35% sale was applied, what was the original price? So again, this is actually a 7th grade or 6th grade question, trust me. But these type of questions will be there on your SAT math because they know that students will make mistake in this. Now, okay, this is based on percentage decrease, not percentage decrease, this is actually based on discount. Well, there is not much difference in discount and percentage decrease, but okay. So there is a cologne, there is an original price, let's say it's P, then there is some discount offered, and then there is the final price. Final price is $14.30, and there is a discount of 35%. So if the discount is of 35%, then that means you are paying, how much are you paying? You are paying 65%, 100 minus 35, you are paying 65% of the original price. So you all you have to do is 0.65 times P is equal to 14.30. Then divide the equation by 0.65, so 14.30 divided by 0.65. And the sad news is you don't have calculator, so you'll have to solve it and you'll get 22 as your answer. So 22 was the original price. After applying the discount of 35%, you got $14.30. Percentages topic is really important. It's always asked on the SAT math section. Do practice a lot on percentage increase, percentage decrease, and discount problems. Now this is a question from Passport to Advanced Math. Let's see who can solve this problem. I want to see. Based on the equation of a circle on the xy plane shown above, what is the area of the circle? We all know that area of a circle is given by pi times the square of the radius. But what is the radius? How do we find out the radius? Any idea? Varen, Kalchik, any idea? Yes, Kalchik.
Diameter divided by 2.
But what is the diameter?
The distance it takes from one side of the circle to the next.
One side of the circle to the other side. So how will you find out that distance? Going through the center, right? If this is the center,
Yeah.
and you can find out this distance, and you divide the distance by 2. But how will you find out this distance? All you have is this equation. This is equation of circle. You know how lines have equations? How parabolas have equations? Similarly, circles also have equations. But the problem here is, how do we find out the radius from the equation of the circle? Guess, Varen?
Could you complete the square?
We can complete the square, yes. And why do you want to complete the square?
Because for x it's already completed, so all you have to do is have 6 and then square that number and then put it to the other side, and then you get, what's that, 24, and then it should be like rad of 24.
Okay, that's you're doing the correct approach. You are in the right direction, but okay, from a circle, how can we find out the radius? For that, you need to know the standard form of equation of a circle. So the standard form of the equation of a circle is given by x minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square equals to r square, where your h comma k is the center of the circle and r is the radius of the circle. So if the equation of a circle is given to us, what we will try to do is we will try to complete the square of the x terms and the y terms. So as Varen said correctly, we will try to complete the square for these 3 terms and for these 2 terms. Now the first 3 terms are already in completed square. If you see the first 3 terms, x square plus 8x plus 16, they are actually the whole square of x plus 4. Because if you will expand this, you will get x square plus 2 times 4 times x, which is 8x, and 4 square, which is 16. Now in order to complete the square for this, what do? We take the b term, which is 6, we divide it by 2, which gives us 3. Then we take its square, which gives us 9, and then we add and subtract 9. So we add 9 here and we add 9 here. That will complete this square. Now the last 3 terms make the whole square of y minus 3. And on the right hand side you get 15 plus 9, 24. See, y minus 3 whole square will expand to y square minus 2 times 3 times y, which is minus 6y, plus 3 square, which is 9. So now we have written this equation in the standard form, and if you compare this with the standard form equation, the center is negative 4 comma 3. And what is the radius? What is the radius of the circle? Yes, Varen?
Rad 24.
Rad 24. So what is the area of this circle? Drum rolls. Yes, Varen?
C.
C. Area of the circle is pi r square. Pi is pi and r square will be square of this. Square of square root of 24 will be 24. So we have 24 pi, which is option C. Circles again is a favorite topic of SAT math test creators. You will get one question based on the equation of circles, and you'll get one question based on area of sectors. I cannot cover everything in this time, but one question you'll always get on finding out the area of the sector, the angle will be given, or you will get a question based on the arc length. What is the length of this arc? The radius will be given to you, this angle will be given to you, and you'll either have to find out the area, this area, or you will have to find out this arc length. Yes, Varen?
Can you just go over the formulas for those again?
For the area and the arc length?
Yes.
Okay. You will help me deriving the formula. I never memorize the formulas, but I actually just remember the concept. I'm glad that you asked this. Okay. So let's say we have this circle, and which has this center. See how you have to not remember the formulas. Let's say that this is the sector, and this is, let's say, angle. What angle should I take? Theta. This is a variable that we use, theta. And let's say that this is the radius, and we have to find out the area of this sector, and and this arc length. This arc length. Okay, area and arc length, area and arc length, area and arc length. First, tell me, what will be the length of the entire circle?
Do you mean the circumference?
Yes, circumference.
Do you want the formula or like
Yes,
what do you?
formula of this
Oh,
entire boundary.
it's 2 pi r.
It's 2 pi r, and okay, let me write that. 2 pi r. And what is the area of the circle?
Pi r squared.
Pi r square. Okay, let me write that. Now, when you have to find out the area of just this sector, just this yellow portion that I have mentioned, what you will do is you will actually divide this with a ratio. Not divide, you will multiply this with a ratio. The ratio of this angle theta with the total angle of the circle. What is the total angle of the circle? It is 360 degrees, right? So just multiply the area of the total circle with this ratio, theta over 360 degrees. That's the area of the sector. Okay, so I never memorize any formulas. I always derive the formulas. In that way, we never forget the formula. Now, similarly, can you tell me what will be the arc length?
You find the circumference and then you do the same thing where like you just divide.
Exactly. You find the circumference, which is 2 pi r, multiply that by this ratio. Okay. So basically, we are finding out the whole area and we are multiplying that by what is the fraction that this region is. Like, this region is what fraction of the whole region. Okay. So that fraction you multiply by the complete area. Similarly, for the arc length, by what fraction this arc length is, what fraction of this arc length is of the entire length. So that for that you divide the angle of the sector by the total angle of the circle. So that's your formulas. One question you will get on these two formulas also. Have you noted this down?
I need a second for that because I don't have a pen and paper with me.
You should note this down. But actually, I will be sending the recording of this webinar to you if you need it. So let's move to the final concept. What is the final concept? Similar triangles. Again, you will see one question on similar triangles on the SAT Math section, on every SAT Math exam. What does this problem say? In the triangle shown above, BC is equal to 4 and DE is equal to 8 and CE is equal to 10. If the side length AD is equal to rad x, then what is the value of x? This is the concept of similar triangles. And this is also, I think it's a 7th grade question, 7th or 8th grade. I think similar triangles is in 8th grade. Any idea how will you solve this problem? Varun, Kalchik. Yes, Kalchik?
You just find like a ratio, and then once you find like the ratio, you should be able to like find the angles, and then if you want the area, you just have to do base times height divided by 2.
But we don't have to find out the area in this problem. We have to find out the value of x, where square root of x is,
Okay.
yeah. So I think we need to find out the length of AD. AD, definitely we need to find out the length of AD. And this triangle, the bigger triangle, looks like a right triangle because this is a right angle over here. So I think we would also need the length of AE so that we can apply the Pythagorean theorem, right? So if I need to find out AD, so I know that AD square will be equal to AE square minus the square of DE. Am I right? Hypotenuse square minus the other length, other side square. Now the problem is that we don't even have AE. I don't even know what is AE. I only know what is CE. I don't know what is AD. I don't know what is AE. I know what is DE, at least that's a good thing. I know DE is 8 square, but I don't know what is AE. So in order to find out AE, we will use the concept of similar triangles. So in similar triangles, we know that the ratios of corresponding sides of two triangles is same. So this triangle ABC, this smaller triangle ABC, and the bigger triangle ADE, they are similar. How do I know they are similar? How do I know they are similar? Because of angle similarity criteria. There is one angle which is common, so that angle is congruent, and then angle B and angle D is 90 degrees. So these two angles are also congruent. So by angle criteria, I know that these two triangles are similar. Now since these two triangles are similar, we can put the ratio of the sides same. So I know that ratio of BC, so the shorter side BC and DE, ratio of BC and DE will be equal to ratio of AC and AE. So far so good? Okay, so BC is 4, DE is 8, AC, I don't know what is AC, and AE can be written as AC plus 10, right? AE can be written as AC plus 10. So now you can solve for AC, just do cross multiplication, cross multiply 4 times AC plus 4 times 10 will give me 40 is equal to 8 times AC. And you subtract 4 AC from both the sides to get 40 equals 4 AC. Divide the equation by 4 and you get AC is equal to 10. So AC is 10, everybody. AC is 10. So if AC is 10, then what is AE? AE is 10 plus 10, that is 20. Okay, so 20 square is 400 minus 8 square is 64. 400 minus 64 gives us 336. So that is AD square, and AD is given to us as square root of x. So square root of x whole square is equal to 36, and we want to find out the value of x. So square of square root of x is nothing but just x. Remember that square root and square are inverse operations, so they get cancelled. So you get x is equal to 336. These are the type of problems where you need time. So you need to save your time in the easier problems where you can save time by applying the problem solving skills. But in these problems, you will have to go through this entire process. You'll first have to apply the similarity criteria, then you'll have to solve to find out AC, then you'll have to apply the Pythagorean theorem. These type of problems will need time. So you save your time in the easier problems and you use that saved time on the advanced math problems. That's how you will go from 700 to 800 or even 600 to 750 on SAT math. So now is the time for the bonuses. First of all, I really want to thank you all to join me in this webinar. I hope my only intention was to deliver some value. I hope you learned something today. I hope you got some value out of this webinar today. So there are some bonuses at the end. You can avail 25% discount for the next 1 week if you reserve your 2 free trial classes right now, and if you wish to enroll in any of the courses that I am offering. I am personally going to be teaching these subjects: Algebra 1 Geometry, Algebra 2 Pre-Calculus, Calculus 1 or 2, or SAT Math. So you can reserve. I offer 2 free trial classes for free. You can reserve it for free by clicking on the link in the chat box. I'm sending a link right now. You will see it flashing in your chat box. Yeah, there it is. I've sent a link. If you want, you can reserve your 2 free trial classes, and if you wish to get enrolled in any of the courses in the next 1 week, you will get 25% discount. Finally, I also want to go over why the classes at A+ Calculus will be different. Is first of all, the class size will be really small. There will be not more than 3 or 4 students. So you'll get the personalized attention which I have seen it's missing from lot of other tutoring classes. I have personally taught at a lot of tutoring companies before starting my own tutoring company, and here there are no other teachers. I am the only teacher who is taking right now. I have students from college as well. They are taking Calculus 2, and the thing is that I don't want to impose my curriculum to the students. I will teach whatever you want me to teach. So if you have your school curriculum with you, share it with me. You will have the complete independence. You will have the control over what I will be teaching in the class. Okay, so I will not impose a common curriculum on all the students of the class. Whatever you want me to teach, I will teach that. Then there will be the study resources will be provided to you for your practice, the recordings of the live class, the class notes for your practice. So you don't have to worry about taking notes during the class, because I will be sending a PDF of the notes. Whatever I'm writing on the board, I will be sending the PDF of those notes. So you don't have to worry about, in the class you can pay complete attention to the board. Don't worry about the notes. And then I'll be also sending you homework. Finally, I also encourage the parents to meet the teacher at least twice a month, so that the parents are in the loop of their child's progress. You can all turn on the camera. I just want to take a snapshot, because for me it was a really good session and it meant a lot. Could you all share your feedback? How did it go? Ms. Shravani, Varen, Kalchik, did you find it of some value? Yes, Ms. Shravani.
Vrinda, is it possible to send that link in the email so that I will send the feedback?
Yes, sure, I will
Yes.
send the feedback. I mean,
Okay,
I will
yes.
send the link.
Yeah, sure on that. Thank you.
Kalchik, How about you? I think Miss Shravani was not here for most of the time, but you attended the entire webinar. How did it go for you?
It was good. I mean, I learned a lot, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good. I don't know what to say else. It's just like really good. It's like it was helpful, and I got to like understand what I had to do and what I didn't have to do.
Wow, that means a lot. I really appreciate it, Chalchik. What about you, Varane?
I thought it was really good because we learned a lot in such a short amount of time.
Wow, that means the world to me. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you so much for joining me. And I would really appreciate it if you could all turn on the camera. And I just want to capture this moment just for a second. Oh, hi, Kaushik. So nice to see you. And hi, Varane. So nice to see you. It's some you are talking to the students. You think how do they look like, and then finally you get to see them. Thank you so much. Can you just pose anything? Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let me know. I hope you have my email address. Let me know if you wish to try a free class for any high school subject from Algebra 1 to Calculus 2 or SAT Math. My email address is, you can note it down. Let me also send it in the chat. It's just my name, Vrinda at the rate a plus calculus.com. Anything you want to find, any information you need, any help, you can just shoot an email at this address. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much again. Do you have any questions before we wrap up? Okay. All right.
I don't have any.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely meeting you. I hope you keep getting A plus in your exams, in your quizzes, and I hope I get to meet you again soon. Till then, have a great Sunday, great rest of the Sunday. Bye bye. See you later. Thank you.